Hey guys, welcome back to Wild Horizons. My name is Barrett, and in today's video, we got two red-eyed tree frogs. Alright guys and girls, I appreciate you tuning back in today. Again, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you clicking on this one today. We did get two red-eyed tree frogs. So our local pet store, we were going around getting different stuff for different animals and decided to swing by one of our pet stores here local. And they never have these frogs in there, and they had two of them. So we got both. So we have an enclosure we have temporarily kind of set up for them. And in today's video, we're going to go over kind of a quick setup. They're in a 12 by 12 by 18 is what they're going to go into temporarily until we can get a bigger enclosure. But in today's video, you're going to see me create an enclosure, a temporary enclosure for them, which still 10 gallon is, in my opinion, a decent amount of space for them. 10 to 20 gallon is really ideal, especially for one, if not maybe two at max. So we're going to set up that enclosure today. Again, if you're new, drop a like down below, consider subscribing, but let's get right into the build. Alright, so we're going to go over some items that you're going to need if you want to go ahead and set up a temporary, or could even be a permanent setup for the animals that you're getting. But in this case, again, this will be for our red-eyed tree frogs. Again, this is a temporary setup. This is a 12 by 12 by 12 we had laying around. We have a little backdrop that will go on it. I am probably going to foam this one. So I don't want to foam the whole back because this is not permanent, but I may go ahead and do the sides. And the reason why I say that is because I have some extra cork bark laying around. These create really good shelves, and tree frogs like to sit underneath of leaves as well as bask underneath here when they sleep. So I may end up putting these in there, and then I could always take the foam out. But we got some mesh, so we are going to be doing a bioactive setup. You can see our moss there and some of our substrate here. It has been soaking in some water. And then we have some extra supplies that we're going to be using for this. So we have clay pebbles. This is going to be put in first after we clean the enclosure, because whenever you get a new animal, you always want to make sure you're cleaning your setup that you're putting them into instead of not, because you don't want germs or anything or diseases, if that were to be, prevalent inside of the setup. You don't want that to obviously spread to this animal. So we have some leaf litter that we're going to be spreading out and some more moss. And then we actually have one live plant that we have already in house. We have to repot it, but this will be great because they can go sit up underneath these leaves. So I do like this a lot. Got some fake stuff and then a little branch. We also have light systems and setups. So red-eyed tree frogs do need some heat. So they like to stay in like the mid 70s, 75, 76 degrees. Our house is like 72, 73. So I may end up putting a heat system on them. Maybe not in this setup though, because it is pretty small. So I may end up doing it, I may not. I'm gonna measure out the heat. I have a little thermometer here that I'm gonna stick where they're gonna most likely be towards the top. We'll see. So I do have an LED light instead of using the T5 bar. I also have that too, and then I have some little tiny 50-watt heat lamp bulbs. So this is a maybe. Anyways, we have a little water dish. This is great because they can go up under here if they want to inside, and this is a pretty deep water bowl that they can go in and bask, so, and soak up all that good water. But let's get right into cleaning this out because this needs to be cleaned. It is filthy. This was housing some White's tree frogs, so we got to give this a good wipe down. I already sprayed it down a little bit, but it definitely needs more of a deeper clean because it is pretty nasty. So let's get into that. All right, so I've already given this enclosure a pretty good wipe down. Again, I'm gonna do it again just to demonstrate. So I had a bottle of this stuff. This is a surface cleaner. I had this on the table. Don't use this. So I don't recommend to ever really clean an enclosure unless you thoroughly clean it after with like dechlorinated water, because amphibians, they soak everything through their skin. So this stuff or anything with any kind of a fragrance whatsoever, I usually don't recommend using. So unless you're gonna deeply clean it after, I just would stay away from this. So use water. We're gonna, in this case, I gave it a good rinse down already once. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out, and I'm just gonna apply some dechlorinated water, and I'm gonna give this thing one more good wipe down. So let's do this, and we're just gonna wipe everything down again, getting all of this excess anything off. And then, because the main reason for this, guys, if this was like a reptile enclosure, I'd be okay, maybe a little bit less cautious, but even then, I mean, the thing with amphibians is they soak everything through their skin. So, I mean, heaven forbid something were to happen to your animal and that'd be your fault. It's just not a good feeling. So, take the precautionary steps to just clean the enclosure. It doesn't take very long, and it's a necessity when you're getting new animals. So, all right, you can see here, I've wiped everything down. We're good. We'll let that go to the side. We'll put this off to the back. The next thing we're gonna do here is put this background in place. So I've already given this a good wipe down. We're gonna go ahead and let's go to the top. We're gonna stick it in here. Again, guys, this is a temporary setup. So this is not a permanent setup. This is temporary, 100%. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just creating some kind of easy background. I was gonna spray foam. I'm not, because I'm not gonna have them in this permanently, and I don't wanna have whatever I put in here next, maybe dart frogs, probably, just because it's a 10 gallon, it's a 12 by 12 by 18. I just want this to be simple. So this is a temporary setup. Again, it could be a permanent setup if you have one, maybe two, but I think 12 by 12 by 18 is a little small for two. But for a temporary enclosure, this will do just fine, because this is as big, if not bigger, than what they're in now at the pet store. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get out this stuff. These are clay pebbles. So let's get that out of the way. These clay pebbles are what's gonna be at the very base of the enclosure. So we'll do a good little dump. Let's see how good that is. No, it's loud too. I apologize. That's good. Cool. So you want to do like about an inch and a half. That's actually perfect. Next thing we're gonna do is this. So this is a screen, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this on top here, and I'm gonna cut this out. So I want this to be basically sitting on top of this, so that my substrate that I'm gonna use doesn't actually go down inside of this, because this is your water base and you want that to be free of any substrate. So let's cut this and we'll be right back. All right, so now that that has been cut, again, having it a little bit bigger is fine. So you just don't want it smaller, because you don't want any substrate getting down underneath of this. So this is just a screen. It helps just prevent any of the substrate from getting below and getting into your water table. So you can already see there condensation. So this holds humidity really well, and frogs need a pretty high humid environment. So let's get into putting some substrate in. So we are gonna grab some of our moss here and break this apart. Okay. Do a little bit more breaking. This has been soaking in some water, so it's pretty damp. So it's pretty easy to pull apart. Cool. All right, so we're gonna grab some of this stuff. I'm gonna kind of toss it in here. All right, so that looks pretty good. Actually, for now, yeah, let's do a live plant. So to start with, let's go ahead and put put this in here. Again, guys, take your time too when you're doing this. I know this is a temporary setup, but take your time. I mean, it's fun to kind of skate things out, get a little feel for how you want to do stuff. Cover that up so you can't really see it too much. Let's get into a time lapse real quick of me setting this up, because y'all don't need to sit here and watch me do all this. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we just washed our hands nice and clean before we put these guys into their new enclosure. They made a little boom boom, so let's go ahead and get them out and get them into their new setup. So let's grab the first one. You guys have never seen these guys up close. It is just crazy to see them. I mean, look at that. Look how awesome they are, coloration wise. So let's go ahead and see if he will go in. Come on, little guy. Whoop. Here. There you go. Woo! So we did decide to put a 50-watt little heat bulb in there, and then a little LED. So, or UVB, not LED. Sorry. Let's go ahead and get this guy. Just woke up from a nap, but look how awesome the colors are on these guys. It's just insane. I mean, it looks fake. They're awesome. So we'll go ahead and get him in too. Come on, little guy. No, you don't want to go. Okay. I know, we're best friends. There you go. Come on, little guy. There you go. Awesome. Yeah, come on. Perfect. Cool. So let's go ahead and give these guys a quick mist down. So, as you can see, guys, I'm not skimping out. I do bioactive setups. Trust me, I kind of know what I'm doing, somewhat. But let's give these guys a quick spray down. Usually give them a mist down for about 10 seconds. Since this isn't live, I'm gonna go and stop there. There's plenty of it for now. Should get a little bit on the substrate, but yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this, make sure you drop a like down below, consider subscribing. These guys are awesome. I'm super happy we got him. He's struggling to get back up there in that corner. So, but yeah, make sure you stay subscribed, like down below, comment a name for both of these guys. We don't have a name for them. They are gonna be getting a bigger setup here in the near future, but for right now, this is what they're gonna be in. Again, it's plenty of space for the time being. They were in a little bit smaller enclosure at the store, which I can always give them a better home here. Why not? So make sure you tune in. We're gonna go and get these guys lights off because it is nighttime now, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.